Right, we're live now. I'm joined today with heavyweight contender Cassius Chaney. How are you doing, mate?
Doing good, man. Just chilling. We got a rainy day here today, but everything's going good.
So, just tell us a little bit about you like the next fights that you've got planned and how your career started out and everything, mate.
Uh it's a long story. I started late after playing basketball in college. I went into the gym, and it was all she wrote. I played basketball for a long time, but growing up, I always found myself fighting. So
Uh-huh.
I knew I had that fighting spirit. And I just I got into boxing at the right time.
Hmm.
So
So what part of America did you grow up in, Cassius?
I grew up in Baltimore, Maryland, actually, and then I moved to Connecticut, going into high school. I
Uh-huh.
came to visit my grandmother, my late grandmother, and I just, came to visit it, and I ended up staying. I was pretty much like the only kid type of thing. And my grandmother, I'm my first grandchild, so it was very fitting, for me to come here.
Because with a name like Cassius, you would think that you were born into a boxing family. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
named after. Sorry, mate, I just cut out a second there. I with a name like Cassius, you would think that you were born into a boxing family.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they love so growing up, my family loved watching the fights. Like
Mm-hmm.
we used to go to my uncle's house and they always have the fights on. But because I was fighting so much as a kid, I don't think they wanted to put me in boxing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would have did a lot of the stuff I taught on the kids in my neighborhood. You know what I mean? So I think it worked out because when I started getting into boxing, you have to mature and be mature to do it.
Yeah.
And I was a lot more mature in the sense that you know I had more patience with certain things.
So tell us about your transfer from basketball into boxing and when you first actually went in the gym and thought about fighting and everything, Cassius.
Um, the transition for me wasn't really that difficult, to be honest with you. I think the hardest part for me was you play basketball. I'm right-handed, so I'm kind of playing basketball as a southpaw,
Uh-huh.
as a righty. But then when you go into the boxing gym, I change. I'm taught as an orthodox as a righty.
Uh-huh.
So that kind of was different because the stance, I'm switching my stance up from a southpaw stance in basketball to basically a righty stance in boxing. But
Mm-hmm.
the footwork wasn't really that bad, but it's one of those things where you got to keep doing it. Basketball is a skill game, boxing is a skill sport as
Yeah.
well. But when I got into the Golden Gloves, I won my first year like right away. I won my first year in the Golden Gloves novice, and then I was like, "Yeah, I can do it." So I just stuck with it.
So what was your amateur boxing record overall?
24-3.
24 3. Is that no like your amateur record? Was that your amateur record as well?
Yeah, amateur record. Yep.
Oh, so your amateur record like matches your current pro record.
Dang. Yeah, yeah. I ain't thought
Wow.
about it. I haven't thought about it like that, but yeah, it does
Yeah.
actually. Yeah, shit.
That's
Yeah.
crazy that like did you fight any like notable names in the amateurs?
I fought Cam Awesome. I fought Jermaine Franklin when I first started out. Owen Minor when I first started out. A lot of those guys that's like Jermaine Franklin probably the only one that is making like noise that I fought as an amateur at
Mm-hmm.
that time. Um, then there was a lot of guys that was like coming through under me that was making great noise, but they just fizzled out. You know what I mean? They just don't box anymore. You
Mm-hmm.
know.
Mm-hmm. Some
But
people just
that's
lose the hunger or they don't have the like desire or the style
um
to transfer into the pro game. Like
boxing is a dirty game. you got to deal with so much stuff. You have to worry about where you got to worry about how you gonna eat, how you gonna train. Um, People don't understand this part, right? The smaller weights, it sucks because those guys got to make weight. It
Uh-huh.
sucks, right? But as a heavyweight, you have to be able to eat. You're a
Yeah.
heavyweight. You got to be able to feed your muscles, feed your body,
Uh-huh.
along with the other stuff that every boxer goes through with the management, bad management, bad. You might get into a situation with a bad promoter.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? Those are the normal things, kind of. But every single weight class has its own struggles,
Yeah. Well,
and I get
I
why
think
sometimes
heavyweights
people
hit
figure,
harder as well. I mean, like obviously, I boxed a little bit myself as an amateur, and obviously heavyweights do hit a lot harder, don't they, than the lighter weights?
yeah,
So how much calories are you trying to bang in, Cassius?
calories. Calories. I'm supposed to be somewhere between 2,800 and 3,000 a
Yeah.
day, but I think now a lot of my focus now is primarily on my protein intake and making
Yeah.
sure I get enough protein a day.
Uh-huh.
Um, However, I got to get it. I got to get it. And that's my main focus right now going forward. Given that I might be fighting at the end. I might be fighting December 20th,
Uh-huh.
or I might just go down. I'm in camp right now with Jake Paul and those guys, so I might just go to that fight. So we'll see.
Yeah. So is there a chance you're going to get it? If I was going to get to this with Jake Paul and Joshua and stuff, is there the chance you're going to get a fight on that card, mate?
Nah, nah. I mean, it would have been nice, but that card is probably full because a lot of the people that was fighting on Javante Davis's versus
Uh-huh.
Jake Paul versus Javante Davis card, they still have to get those fights. So
Yeah.
it's only right and it's only fair. So it don't matter to me if I was fighting on that card or fighting on another card. Like it's the business.
So
I ain't even stressing it.
was your name in the mix to fight Anthony Joshua before?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I was supposed I was supposed to fight Joshua tonight.
Tell us about like how all that came about and what your thoughts leading up to a Joshua fight were, mate.
Well, when I was in camp, obviously, I felt really good about my chances because not just was he in a rough fight his last fight, but he been out a year.
Uh-huh.
So I felt pretty good. But like I told people, like I'm just being honest, going down to Jake's camp and seeing some of the stuff that he's doing and trying to do, I have to be honest and say, nah, I wouldn't have been because of the short week, because of it was short notice. Like people not understanding that part. I got the call maybe for like 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks. Like it wasn't like a real camp. Like Jake Paul has what 7 weeks to train for Joshua, 6 weeks.
Uh-huh.
I only had two, so like that's not really a real camp anyway. You know what I mean? I'm kind of we were cramming, we were working with what we had, but that time frame of 2 a days, 3 a days, you need those for
Uh-huh.
Joshua, for Dubois, for Fabio. You need those. So in this sense, it worked out because I wouldn't have been totally prepared the way I should be and where I want to be for Joshua, to be honest.
So with you being in Jake Paul's camp and being around Jake Paul and seeing how he trains, obviously I've heard a lot of good things about how he looks after fighters, but I've never seen anything like this before, where a fighter is moving up with the lack of experience and the lack of credentials Jake Paul's got. And I know he's done well for how long he's been in boxing, and he's took it seriously and he's trained intently. But I've never seen like literally something as crazy as like, oh, so you're having a fight with Javonta Davis. Davis pulls out. Now you're fighting Anthony Joshua. Um, how do you find Jake Paul when you've been in the gym with him, mate?
Um, I don't know how much I can say. I would say that I'm the big man. I'm the
Uh-huh.
big man in the ring. You know what I mean? I'm the big man in the ring. So
Uh-huh.
that's just how I approach it when I spar with him the other day. I'm the big man in the ring. But he has a good IQ. He's athletic. He has a great team. He has a great team. His team, they have experience. They all fought. So
Uh-huh.
when they're telling him something, he can trust that what they're telling him, they've gone through it. You know what I mean? So that's half the battle right there because his team is they're 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 constantly teaching him. You know,
Uh-huh.
so he's going to be well prepared though. He's going to be well prepared, and he's open to information and taking in information and learning. You know what I mean? So that alone is a big plus.
Yeah. Sorry, mate. I've just had someone trying to phone us. But so how do you what's your prediction for this fight with Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua?
I would say it's weird to say it, man. It's weird to say it, but I'm gonna say Jake Paul. I got s- Jake Paul second round.
Wow. Well,
Jake
well,
Paul second round.
I mean, I, I keep thinking sometimes that this is a joke, like that the whole thing. But like obviously, what would you say without like like that, without giving anything away game plan wise and like anything like that? That people maybe could have seen just watching Jake Paul's fights. What would you see his strengths and weaknesses are in there as a heavyweight that you struggle with yourself to adapt to?
His strengths is like I said, he's more athletic than what you think. And I
Uh-huh.
think like some people in boxing is one of them things where like if you haven't experienced it or you haven't seen it, it's hard to kind of like gauge it. But then after a while, you might be like, all right, I know what to expect.
Uh-huh.
But you know, like it's not that much film on Jake Paul. Like only thing you can go off of is the
Uh-huh.
times he's fought guys his size. He like fighting somebody bigger. It might be easier for him because uh a lot of the big guys in boxing, we're straight up and down.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? We're not really too athletic, like limber. So
Mhm.
I would say one of his strengths is he's going to be more athletic, and obviously, like the obvious one, the weakness would be he's just small. He's shorter. He's smaller than Joshua,
Mhm.
but he can he can counteract that with his movement, with being elusive and
Uh-huh.
being smart because he is smart. He's a smart dude.
I've noticed that like when Jake Paul he like sort of, at least in some of his earlier fights, he scored knockouts with that right where he coils it back and sort of lunges up with it, and I could imagine him catching heavyweights with that. But I don't know. I just find it hard to believe him like catching Joshua. Like, but obviously, like I'm like everyone else. I want to watch it. I want to see what happens. So, do you think Jake Paul could then go on to be a world champion or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, look, one thing he's doing, he's getting the experience. He's staying in the gym.
Uh-huh.
That's he's doing what everybody else is doing. He's just making great money doing it because he already had a fan base behind him beforehand. That's the that's the part that is that people like don't like. But you can't fault it because he's doing it right. He's getting the experience. He's getting the top notch experience. Like for example, he's getting this crazy experience with Joshua, with Chavez Jr. But Lomachenko came and fought Salido, right?
Uh-huh.
So the difference was Lomachenko had 300 amateur fights.
Uh-huh.
So, but it's still it's like the same thing. It's just that Jake Paul. already has made money being something else. So that's the field. That's the way people view him already. You know,
Uh-huh.
like they're not letting go over of the YouTuber now boxer. They got to just see it for what it is right now, and that's hey, look, he training hard for freaking Joshua. You know, he got to get ready, and I got to help him get ready for it. You know.
Uh-huh. What do you think with like? I think it's really off the back of Jake Paul that this whole influencer boxing, seeing what's come about. You know, where it's like a lot of celebrity. It's I think it's probably bigger in Britain than it is in America, but it still seems to be quite big in America with a lot of like YouTubers and Instagram and TikTok stars having these boxing fights. Do you think it's good for boxing or bad for boxing? Because there's always been an element of like show business in boxing, but it seems that it's went the other way where it's like it used to be 80%, 80, 90% boxing and 10, 20, 30% show business, whereas now it seems like it's the other way around. What do you think about the whole influencer fight scene that's sort of come off the back of Jake Paul?
I think it's good for boxing. To be honest with you, I just think it's good for boxing because in his case, he's putting the work in behind it. You know what I mean? It's not like he's like some 300 pound slob and oh he's has money, he's coming in the box. And look, as fighters, all fighters might agree with this one. People get into boxing that don't really love boxing. They got the money to do it, so they manage fighters. They have the money to do it, so they're they're just doing it, but they don't really like the sport. They don't really enjoy it. But now you got a guy that's gotten into it and he enjoys the training, he's doing it. What's wrong with it? Boxing is probably like what the second best sport in England behind football, right? Behind soccer. The
Uh-huh.
difference is here we have other things competing with boxing, which is football, baseball, basketball. Um, this allows this allows more viewers to the game, to the sport. You know what I mean? Like it's helping me. I'm here helping Jake
Yeah.
Paul. I mean, I sparred with Fury when he was getting ready for Klitschko. That helped me. Now I'm here and I'm learning in a different way. Um, Overall, like the content, putting out content, being more, strategic with my content. Watching him work in the gym, having designated jobs for people in the gym. People are in the gym, like when they come to the gym for him, they all have a specific job that they're doing. That's how it should be. That's how it should be ran. You know what I mean? Like you can't freestyle this sport by yourself. And I've done this the last 3 years, and it's hurt me. You know,
Yeah.
it hurt me slowly. It hurt me, but because of my personality and because of my mind, I've been able like to creep back. You know what I mean? To kind of stay in the mix. So
So is it like one of the most regimented gyms you've ever been in? Like, do you know how you said everyone's got their own role? Like, could you give us some examples of that?
I'll give you an example. First of all, everybody in the gym is in shape. That's one thing. Like they all pretty fit as far as, you don't see anybody out of shape in the gym. But I would say he got a video man, he got a cameraman, he has a massage therapist, he has a strength coach, strat coach, you have your head trainer, you have your assistant trainer, you have your um uh probably physical therapy. You know what I mean? You got a little bit
Yeah.
of everything. Not saying everybody can afford that, but you got personal assistant. You need people with designated roles so everybody just can so everybody can be the best at their role, and I won't say it's the most regimented. I would say it's one of the most regimented.
Well, you've mentioned Tyson Fury that you sparred him in the past to help him prepare for Klitschko. How, like, Jake Paul's mentioned that it, like, if he wins this, which you're predicting he will, that his next opponent that he wants to face is Tyson Fury. How do you think that Jake Paul match fares up with Tyson Fury and your experience working with both of them?
It would be different because Tyson's more of a boxer. Um, it would be different because Tyson's more of a boxer and he's longer. But then again, Tyson will play to the crowd. You know, he's more like limber. He's gonna play to the crowd. He's gonna make it fun. Um, he would probably make it fun. Like if this was Tyson versus Jake Paul right now, it would be like, all right, everybody would be like, this is a joke. Like
Uh-huh,
more people would say that because of Tyson's personality. But
uh-huh,
yeah, I don't know. It would be different. It would be different. It would be a lot more things that he would have to focus on, like in camp versus a guy like Tyson Fury.
uh-huh,
Because you really can't head hunt Tyson. You can't head hunt him. You know.
uh-huh, uh-huh. I mean, I still can't believe some of the fights that we've seen the last few years, like Fury and Garnu and fights like that, have even happened. Like you say, sometimes I wonder myself if it's all a joke. But there's one thing that some critics of this fight are saying, that it's like dangerous, and God forbid something like someone gets really injured in this fight. I know you're predicting a Jake Paul win, but you know, like, what do you think that are the should I say the repercussions of something like that happening, and why are you so confident that like Jake Paul like will be all right in this fight?
Uh, because I anticipate, I don't know, but I anticipate the ring being big, and I anticipate him being able to move around the ring. I mean, 8 rounds, 8 rounds. You're able to move around. You're able to buy time. If you cut that in half, you're only really moving around for about 6.5 rounds, right? You grab in 10 seconds, you hold 10 seconds, you try to
But
land
but
something.
even
You know.
even like the grabbing and the holding and stuff like that can be like tiring, Connors.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely, and that's something that he he might have to he's going to have to work on and figure that part out because um Joshua's going to be heavy most likely on fight night,
Uh-huh,
much heavier than a 245. So yeah, those are things that you have to figure out, but it's a lot of time. It's still like 4 weeks. You know what I mean? Like it's still a good amount of time for him to get acclimated and ready for this.
uh-huh, uh-huh. So thanks for your time today,
You're
Cassius.
welcome. You're
I look
welcome.
forward to watching the fight there. When will you be back in with Jake Paul?
Actually, I have to go back tomorrow. I'll be back in Puerto Rico tomorrow.
Right,
So they broke for the press conference, so I decided to come to Connecticut, grab a few things, and then I'm going back tomorrow.
uh-huh. Got a comment there. Someone saying Jake's fights are fixed. It will be a draw at best. Well, it's not what Cassius is saying. But good luck with the preparations, Cassius. I hope like you get a fight arranged soon, and I look forward to like following like your future fights. And I'm definitely looking forward to this. Possible we could get maybe say one or two like interviews done in the next few weeks, maybe 2 3 weeks time. Is
Yeah,
that
yeah,
possible?
definitely.
Yeah.
Just let me know.
Cool, mate. Right. Well, take care, Cassius. Really
Thank
grateful
you.
for your time, and all the best, champ. I'll catch you next
You're,
time.
you're
Take
welcome. Be safe. Peace.
care. Bye.
Peace.